Hello young friends, in this video we are going to do the topic separating the components of a mixture. As in this chapter we are doing that substances which are not pure, so we are going to make them pure by separating the other components which are mixed in with these elements. Okay, so different methods have been used to separate the individual components of the mixture. So what are those methods? Let us see. So total we have 8 methods. First is evaporation, centrifugation, separating funnel, sublimation, chromatography, distillation, fractional distillation and crystallization. So each one we will see separately and in detail. Okay, so the first method is evaporation. So for evaporation we have here separating the components of mixture. So we have first example of evaporation is this. What we are going to consider is we will separate dye from blue or black ink. So for this you have to make this type of setup of the apparatus arrangement. What we are taking is you take a half beaker. You will take this beaker, fill with water, and on the top of that beaker put a watch glass. And in the watch glass you put some few drops of ink. Okay, now we start heating this beaker. So we will not heat the ink directly, because if you heat the ink directly it will get decomposed. That means it will get rotten. So you will start heating the ink kept on a beaker which is filled with water, and you will see what we see, evaporation starts taking place from the watch glass. So here evaporation, can you see evaporation taking place? So the water which is mixed with the ink goes off. Okay, so evaporation is taking place. So you can see the vapors coming out, and further what we see, the vapors go off, and what is left behind is a mixture of, actually the ink was a mixture of dye and water. So from that what happened, water went away in the form of vapor, so evaporation took place. So at the last what will be left behind is the dye, that is the color part which is being added in the ink. Okay, so here we can separate the volatile means the substance which will become vapor and go off. So vapor, that is solvent, here solvent was what, water, and from that non-volatile solute was ink, dye which you have added to make ink. So that can be separated by method of evaporation. Okay, clear? Evaporation method. So what we had done in evaporation, we had taken a beaker is filled with water, half the beaker you will fill with water, and then on the beaker you are keeping a watch glass. In watch glass you put ink, and then you start heating this water. Once the water starts heating, what happens, the water which is mixed with the ink in the watch glass, yes, ये watch glass में जो ink रखा है उसमें जो पानी होगा वो पानी water will evaporate, whole water will get evaporated, and what is left behind is only the dye in the water. So ink is a mixture of dye and water, so water gets evaporated and what is left behind in the watch glass is dye. Okay, so we use this method to separate volatile substance component from the non-volatile. Volatile मतलब जो उड़कर evaporate हो जाएंगे, और non-volatile means like solute, जो ink जो इसमें रह जाएगा. Is it clear? Okay, now next we have, suppose I want to separate cream from the milk. मम्मी को देखा होगा घर पे दे वो लोग बटर निकालते हैं, तो हाउ दे रिमूव, यस, ओके. इन दी मार्केट में तो हमें क्रीम मिलता है, टोन्ड मिल्क, डबल टोन्ड वाले डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ मिल्क पैक्ड इन पॉलीपैक्स, टेट्रा पैक्स वी आर अवेलेबल, and they contain different amount of fat. So now how fat is what, cream. So how you will remove that cream from the milk? So what we do, we take centrifuge it by centrifuging machine. Centrifuging machine means what you will do, it will move the milk continuously in a circle. That means how we do, you can use a churner. घर पे जो मिल्क चर्नर होता है दही को घुमाने का, have you see that churner? So with the help of that what we do, Continuously the milk is being churned, or you can do in mixer also. So when you churn continuously, what happens? The cream gets separated from the milk. Okay. Yes, in the same way they make cheese, paneer from the milk. So now what we see in this, the solid particles in the liquid, which are very small, they can pass through filter paper. So for that we can use filtration technique also. Yes, for such particles you can use which are very small, they pass through the filter paper. So for that, filtration technique cannot be used. Okay, so such mixtures, for that we use the method called centrifugation. Yes, centrifugation. So in this method, centrifugation, when you churn the milk, what is the principle used behind this? Denser particles. Denser means heavy particles. Heavy particles, they force and go to the bottom, and lighter particles, that is butter, which is fat actually, oil, it is lighter than water. So those butter lighter particles, they stay at the top, and when you are churning that milk, so that butter particles or lighter particles can be removed easily since they are floating at the top. So this is the method we call as centrifugation is used. In centrifugation, what we do is churning of the milk. Churning of the milk. And churning of the milk, what happens? The lighter particles will stay at the top, they will float, and the heavy particles, denser particles, go and settle down at the bottom. Okay, so what are the applications of this? What are the applications? In laboratories, diagnostic laboratories, they use this method. They have a separate centrifuging machine. Okay, they have a separate centrifuging machine, with the help of which, in that they add our blood and urine particles and they test. Okay, so it is tested by centrifuging machines. Then in dairies also, milk dairies, to separate butter from milk. In washing machines, you have seen the dryer. When you put clothes, that dryer spins round and round. So what happens? The water comes out from the holes are given in the dryer. So water comes out from that. So water squeezes out from the wet clothes. So that is also centrifugation. That fast moving dryer is an example of centrifugation. Okay. Okay, our next method is separation of immiscible liquids. Okay, by using separating funnel. Okay, so here you can see the diagram of a separating funnel. Yes, separating funnel. Yes. So what is the principle used here is, the principle that is used is, you take two immiscible liquids, we can separate out in layers depending on their densities. So immiscible liquids means what? These are pair of liquids which do not mix with each other. Okay, two liquids which do not mix with each other. So example is oil and water, they never mix with each other. So we can separate such liquids if they get mixed by using this separating funnel. Okay, so here we'll do an activity. We'll try to separate kerosene oil from water using separating funnel. So this is the diagram of separating funnel. So what we do, we pour the mixture of kerosene oil and water in the separating funnel. Okay, so in this separating funnel, what are we doing? We are pouring the mixture of kerosene oil and water, and then we wait for some time. We'll let it stand undisturbed. Okay, we will wait for some time so that the layers, kerosene oil layer and water layer, get separated. Can you see here the layers are separated? This is the kerosene oil and this is the layer of water. So you will wait for some time. Starting they are mixed up. So when you wait, these layers get separated. Okay, fine. So now what we do? Now slowly I will open the stopcock. This is the handle, stopcock, and I'll take a beaker here. And first, in the first beaker, as soon as I open the stopcock, the water starts flowing. So I will collect the water till this point. Yes, and whole from the lower layer I can collect the water. Once this layer comes here, I will again close the stopcock. Okay, then I will remove this beaker, take another beaker. I'll remove this beaker, then I will take another beaker. Okay, and in that beaker I will collect kerosene oil. So second time I will collect kerosene oil. Okay, because this water has already gone. So in the second beaker what I will get? Kerosene oil. Are you getting? Yes. So in the beaker, second beaker I will get kerosene oil. So in this way I had separated both water and kerosene oil. So I got water in another one beaker and kerosene oil in another beaker. Have you got this? So using this separating funnel we have separated oil and water. Okay, kerosene oil and water. So what are the applications of this method, separating funnel method? We can separate mixture of oil and water. Yes. Now in the extraction of iron ore, where we extract iron ore in the blast furnace. So there you will get two layers. One is molten slag. Okay, here it is written slag. So slag, molten slag. Molten slag is made of calcium silicate. Okay, molten slag is made of calcium silicate. That forms the upper layer. And in the lower layer we will have molten iron, because iron is heavy. So it will lie in the lower layer at the bottom in the surface. So using this separate funnel method, separating funnel, what I will do, from the upper part, that is we open the upper hole. Okay, from that we remove out this slag. Calcium silicate is removed from the upper hole. Okay, we open the upper hole and from that this is removed. Calcium silicate is removed. And from the lower hole we remove the molten iron. Okay, fine. So from the lower layer we remove the molten iron. Fine. So here what is the principle used? Only those two liquids which do not mix with each other, those are immiscible liquids. So we separate them out, and so their densities should be separate. Then only this method is possible. Okay, then only they will not mix. So we will get two different layers. So you can separate the layers. Okay, fine. So we have completed one method, that is separating funnel. I hope it is clear. Now next method we have, how can we separate a mixture of salt and ammonium chloride. Okay. So now here what is the method that we use is sublimation. What we will use? Sublimation. Now what is the meaning of sublimation? See, ammonium chloride, it has the property that it directly changes from solid to gaseous state. Other substances, they change from solid to liquid and then from liquid to gas. Here it changes directly from solid to gaseous state. So this property we will use and separate mixture of salt and ammonium chloride. Okay, so to separate this mixture, what we do? Yes, they contain a sublimable volatile component. So one should be sublimable and one should be non-sublimable. Okay, sublimable means it should directly convert from solid to liquid. Okay, so what we have, a mixture of ammonium chloride and salt. Now ammonium chloride will sublimate. Sublimate means it will convert directly from solid to gas. And another you have salt, which there will be no change. So it is non-sublimable substance, non-sublimable impurity. Okay, so what we do here in this? Yes, we have taken, what we have taken here, components, mixture of ammonium chloride and common salt is taken in a china dish. Can you see this china dish? Okay, and it is covered with a perforated filter paper. Yes, it is covered with a perforated filter paper, and then over it we put an inverted funnel is placed on the china dish, and the stem is closed with the cotton plug. So the dish, now we start heating the dish. As soon as we we will start heating the dish, when the volatile substance, that is ammonium chloride, it starts changing into vapor. Ammonium chloride changes into vapors, and these vapors pass through the perforations of the filter paper and they get deposited on the inner surface of the funnel. Are you getting this point? So they pass through the perforations of the filter paper and get deposited on the inner surface of this. Yes, so you can see here you will see the vapors going. So all these vapors will get deposited on the inner surface of the funnel. So that is known as sublimate. What we call that? Sublimate. So the non-volatile substance like common salt, that will remain here itself as residue. Okay, so sublimate, that is ammonium chloride, is separated out from the salt. Okay, are you getting this point? So in this, what we are using, the method is sublimation. Yes, so what we have done, again we'll repeat once again. We take a china dish, and in that what you take, mixture of ammonium chloride and salt, and it is covered with the perforated filter paper. Perforated means a filter paper which has holes over it. Okay, so here you cover with the filter paper, and then over that you put this inverted funnel. Okay, and the stem is closed with the cotton plug, and you start heating. So when you heat, ammonium chloride vapors will pass out. Yes, and it will stick to the sides in the form of solid. So these vapors pass through perforations of filter paper and get deposited on the inner surface of the funnel. So that is known as sublimate. Okay. Yes. So this is known as sublimate, because here you can see it is getting deposited. And non-volatile mixture, that is salt, will remain in the china dish. This is how we have separated ammonium chloride from the mixture of ammonium chloride and salt. Our next method is chromatography. Okay, so chromatography we use for separation of colored substances. Okay, wherever you have colored substances. So in this word, the word chroma word is taken from Greek. Okay, so chroma in Greek means color and graphy means writing. Okay, so the word came chromatography. Fine. Now here, what principle are we going to use? Okay, what is the principle that we use in chromatography for separating substances? Okay, so here we take two or more different substances which are soluble in the same solvent, but their solubilities are different. Okay, they are soluble in the solvent, but solubilities are different. So when a solvent, say water, is allowed to pass over a mixture of such substances, the substance which is more soluble in the solvent moves faster and gets separated from the other substances, whereas other substances which are less soluble, they take time to dissolve. Okay, so they will move slowly. So overall, what is the principle used is separation of different components of a mixture by paper chromatography. We are going to use paper chromatography. Okay, yeah, is based upon their different solubilities in the same solvent. In the same solvent, different solubilities. This is the principle which we use. Okay, now procedure. How do we start with the experiment? Take one small thin strip of paper. Can you see here? Thin strip of filter paper. Fine. Which we call as, it's a special type of paper called chromatographic filter paper. A special type of filter paper. This paper is known as chromatographic filter paper. So we call this as chromatographic filter paper. Okay. a special type of paper used for chromatography, which we call as chromatographic filter paper. Then you draw a line over here. Can you see pencil line? Okay. Then on that spot a black ink. Okay. So draw a line across the width of the filter paper about 3 centimeter from the bottom. From here you will take 3 centimeter and put a small drop of ink from a sketch pen or fountain pen and put a small drop of ink. Can you see here ink, small spot of ink here, black portion? Yes, and let it dry. Now suspend this. Can you see here? This is the glass jar and this is your paper which is suspended, okay, containing water, and inside we have taken water down, and this paper is hanging here inside the water, and your fountain pen spot should be above the water level. Water should be below this point. Clear this point? Now it's a special type of filter paper. It starts absorbing water. So water rises up by capillary action. Capillary action, see, filter paper has the property that it will absorb water and water starts going upwards. So it flows over the spot. So once the water starts flowing over the spot, now along with the from the spot, the water starts taking particles up. So usually ink is a mixture of 2 or more colored dyes. Yes, ink is a mixture of 2 or more colored dyes. The colored component which is more soluble, okay, which one is more soluble in water, rises faster. So you can see it rises up and produces a colored spot at the higher position. You can see here is the first spot, so it came up first. So the which is more soluble rises to the highest point. Then less soluble components rise slowly and they produce at a lower height. Okay, so in this way all the dyes which are present in the black ink get separated. Okay, why? So when the water reaches near the top end of the filter paper, when the water will reach here, we will remove this filter paper out. So this paper with colored spots at different heights is called chromatogram. So this paper is called chromatogram. Okay, fine. Is this clear what we are doing? We'll repeat once. We take a filter paper, a special type of filter paper which we call as chromatographic filter paper. Yes, from 3 centimeter from the bottom, draw a line and mark a small drop of ink, small drop of ink or sketch pen or whichever colored fountain pen here. Take this filter paper, hang it in the glass jar and fill the water below the black dot. Okay, so it is hanging in the water. You hang this filter paper and your dot should lie above the water. Now this filter paper starts absorbing water, correct? As the water rises this level, it starts rising. So the colored component which is more soluble in water rises faster and produces colored spot at the highest position. And the less soluble, which is less soluble, it rises slowly and produces spots at the lower point. So all the dyes get separated. And when the water level rises at the top, we remove this filter paper out. That filter paper which has colored spots, we call that as chromatogram. Okay, so we have got different dyes separated. Fine. Now applications of chromatography, where we use this. It's an important and powerful tool for chemistry because to separate colored substances present in dyes and natural pigments, we can use this method. Identify amino acids which obtained by hydrolysis of proteins. From that we can separate amino acids. Identify and detect drugs present in blood of criminals in forensic science. Whether a criminal is taking drug, we can understand by his blood test. Small amounts of different products we can separate using this of a chemical reaction. So small products of that you can separate out. And to monitor the progress of reaction, how fast the reaction is taking place. So all that can be done using this method known as chromatography.